Hi Redwine, thank you for being so patient. Um, I'd just like to say that out of all the atheists, two atheists, I've basically um, conversed with two atheists, and both of them have they started off okay, but at the end of their videos they insulted me and basically made out Muslims to be terrorists and so forth. And I just respect you for getting your point across firmly, but respectfully, and I actually enjoyed watching your video. I know it's a bit, you might be a bit shocked by that, but I actually enjoyed it. And basically, I just like to say thank you for dealing with me like a human being and not for insulting me, but getting your views across and saying what you disagree with and what you agree with. And I really appreciate that. I wish there was more atheists and Muslims like you on YouTube um, when it comes to manners and so forth. Anyway, let's go through your video. Thanks for the nice comments at the beginning of the video as well. I've just cut it out. So for the people watching, we can just get through to the actual statements and stuff. I'm sure you understand.
That's an interesting position. And it's true that without a divine moral authority, there's no absolute morality in principle. What I mean by that is, if you believe that God said something, then there's absolutely no arguing against that. There's no way to debate it anymore. It's just true. It's just the way it is. And there's nothing that anybody can do about it. Or there's nothing that anybody can say about it. But let's look at the world and see if the world's actually like that. We'll see immediately that it's not. People in every religion, are constantly having arguments about what is right and wrong.
Okay, you say that people within religions are arguing about what's right or wrong. That's very simple. Because in Islam, Islam tells us how to resolve these differences. It says so that in the Quran that if you have any differences amongst yourself, then refer it back to Allah and His Messenger, meaning the Quran and the way of Prophet Muhammad. So therefore, if me and a Muslim disagree on something, I would have to have a text that supports me, and he would have a text that support him. Secondly, if he doesn't have a text, it's simple. I've won the argument, or if I don't have a text, simple. He's won the argument. Secondly, if we both have texts, then we also have an explanation for the texts. So basically, if one of the explanations is going to be right and one of them is going to be wrong, because the Quran doesn't contradict itself. So therefore, you know, Islam is a religion of proofs. So whenever someone says something in Islam, they either have to bring a proof from the Quran, a proof from the sayings of the Prophet, or a proof from the Prophet companions, the Salafis, the people that were around with him and saw him every day and so forth. So that's very easy how to resolve in Islam, and so forth. And really, in Islam, the main two sects are Sunni and Shia, and it's very easy to get to the bottom of that because the main Shia, they insult the companions of the Prophet, and Allah says in the Quran that He's pleased with them, the companions of the Prophet, and they are pleased with Him. So therefore, it's clear to see who's right in that argument and so forth. So um, yeah, I do agree that people have differences, but that's why I like Islam because it's a religion of proofs and basically bringing your proof to support what you're saying and so forth. That's why with them suicide bombers, yeah, and so forth, we can say to them, the Prophet said, don't kill innocent women, don't kill innocent men, don't kill innocent, don't kill like children, don't cut down the trees, and so forth. We can say, look, if they say suicide bombing is permissible, we can say to them that Allah says in the Quran that whoever kills himself will be in the hellfire doing the same thing again and again and again. Um, we can say that, to them in Islam, how can you say that you can blow yourself up when in Islam we're not even allowed to get tattoos and defame our bodies? So it's quite simple. So in Islam we resort to the texts, and that's what Allah tells us over and over again, to refer to, and that's what our messenger told us as well. So
Within Christianity today, the Anglican Church is not sure whether God is going to approve uh, of homosexual priests. Now, of course,
Okay. As for the homosexuality to do with in Christianity, I think it's pretty clear, like as a Christian, that homosexuality is wrong. There's certain verses in the Bible. I know in most Christian countries they have separation between state and church and state, but it says very clear in the Bible that if man lieth with man, he should be put to death. Now you might not agree with it, but the argument is not whether you or me agree with homosexuality being wrong. The argument is, you know, is it right or wrong in Christianity? It's quite clear in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam that it's that it's a major sin. It's just nowadays you because society has it's become accepted society because of the rule of two consenting adults, as long as two people are two consenting adults, um, and they're above the age of consent, they should be able to have a sexual relationship. And the majority of people have come to accept that now. Now they want to obviously put pressure on the church to basically change what they believe is wrong now. But really, to be honest with you, um, even gay Christians, I think they can tell, that homosexuality is a sin in Christian. I'm not saying you can't be a Christian and be a homosexual, but I'll say that it's a major, you're committing a major sin in it. But people commit other sins, but it's definitely a sin, and I think I know that everybody generally knows that.
most of the world traditional religions, because they're 1,000 years old, or 2,000 years old, or 3,000 years old, they would not permit that at all. But we can find other gods who actually very much respect homosexuality. Ancient Greek gods, for instance. We can find gods who um, commanded incest. The ancient Egyptian gods ordered the pharaohs to marry their sisters. And, there's basically nothing that we can't find a god that ordered it at some point. From human sacrifice to cannibalism to, um, genocide, um, rape. Absolutely, rape has been ordered. So
Okay, I'd just like to stop you there. You mentioned ancient Greek gods, and this is the reason why I'm a Muslim. I'm not a Sikh. I'm not a Hindu. I'm not a Christian or anything else, because if you look at what people term as Greek gods, I don't term them as gods. For example, you had like Zeus, and Zeus was supposed to be a god, but he got basically he got deceived and he got tied up, and all the other gods planned against him because he was becoming power thirsty or power hungry and was started to take over land and so forth. So they decided to tie him up. And when you look at these characters like the Greek. All these Greek gods and that you find that one god, like one so-called, it's strange for me as a Muslim because God falling in love with another God, or as Muslims we only believe in one God. Yeah, and this God is superior to any human being, any rock, any statue. So it's kind of funny, like when you look into every other religion, you got things of like God marrying this person, or God getting tired, or God getting hungry or thirsty. These are like blasphemies to me. So when someone says like ancient Greek gods, I don't see them as God. For example, most of the ancient Greek gods, at some stage they were deceived, and then they deceived other gods. Now, that's what I was saying. Objective morality has to come from something that's infinite in wisdom, meaning that it has to come from a being that knows everything and sees anything. Even if a being is all powerful and all powerful, but he's not all knowing, then he cannot legislate infinite wisdom. You're highly intelligent, so I think you understand what I'm saying. For example, if a being is going to say that this is right and this is wrong, and it's going to be superior over a human being, then that human being obviously has to be more knowledgeable than any human being. Meaning that, i.e., if God created the world, He knows what's best. So therefore, all these gods like Zeus and Hercules and all these other guys, like they've at some stage been deceived or overpowered or tricked or so forth.